What if I told you you don't need to text, beg, or chase anyone to make them obsess over you? That your silence rooted in assumption is the most magnetic force you'll ever know. This isn't seduction. This is manifestation. And in this video, I will show you how to manifest their obsession without a single word. Just imagine, and it is done. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that their absence became louder than their presence ever was? I did once. And like many, I was tempted to reach out to call, to explain, to justify my love with words. But something within me whispered, don't text, don't chase, assume. So I sat in silence, not out of ego or pride, but out of certainty. I closed my eyes and assumed they were already mine, obsessed, devoted, and longing for me in ways they couldn't explain. I felt the warmth of their presence next to me, heard their voice echoing in laughter that never left the room, and most of all, I felt the deep pull not from them to me, but from within myself. Days passed. Then came the message, the call, the confession. I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about you. And I smiled. Because I did know why. I knew. Because I had manifested their obsession. The moment you stop texting, you stop affirming absence. By choosing silence, you allow the imagination to speak louder than any word could. Your assumption that they're already obsessed with you becomes the dominant vibration you carry in reality, being the obedient mirror, reflects it faithfully. To manifest a specific person, you must not look at what is, but live in what is imagined. If your mind entertains even 1 second of doubt, 1 instant of why haven't they messaged, you are affirming their disinterest. But if you dare to feel that they already crave you, your inner world begins to impress upon the outer. The law of assumption in love does not work through force, it works through faith. You do not make someone obsessed by begging for attention. You assume they are already losing sleep over the thought of you. This assumption, when held as natural, rewires your subconscious mind and creates conditions that feel like fate. When you chase, you emit lack. But when you sit still in your imagination, knowing they are yours, you become a vibrational match to love. You must move from needing them to having them in the silence of your mind. And that silence speaks volumes to the subconscious of others. To manifest someone to miss you, you do not wait for a call or a text. You give it to yourself in imagination. Visualize them pacing, wondering, obsessed with the thought of you. Feel it real, until it feels so true you almost pity them for how deeply they desire your presence. The technique is not texting or calling. The technique is inner knowing. Your power lies in assuming you are the only one they think of. This belief begins to shift your mental diet, and from that shift comes the evidence: emails, messages, confessions that match your assumption. Your self-concept for love is the foundation of obsession. If you believe you're easily forgotten, you will be. But if you believe you are unforgettable, magnetic, irresistible, that becomes your essence. People will chase you without understanding why. Telepathic manifestation is real. Your feelings project. Your silence sends messages. When you imagine with feeling, you transmit signals that pierce the subconscious of your specific person. You become their inner voice. You haunt them sweetly. That is how obsession begins internally, invisibly, inevitably. The moment you stop texting, you stop affirming absence. That statement holds more weight than it seems at first glance. For to text someone from a state of desperation or longing is to confess internally, I do not yet have. And this confession, although subtle, is a creative act. Every inner movement is an act of creation. You are not communicating with a person, you are impressing your subconscious with the idea of lack. And the subconscious, being impersonal, obedient, and tireless, brings forth whatever you plant within it. So when you text someone while in a state of fear or urgency, you are not moving them closer, you are reinforcing separation. But silence, true silence, is not merely the absence of words. It is the presence of assumption. It is the stillness of knowing. When you stop reaching outward, you begin reaching inward. And that inward movement is the very key to transformation. Your imagination is the creative faculty by which all things are made. If you stop speaking to the person externally, but continue to speak to them internally in fear, doubt, or longing, you are still creating from lack. But the moment you replace those internal conversations with ones of confidence, with feelings of it is already so, you shift your reality entirely. Let us understand something foundational. There is no outer world apart from your perception of it. The world that appears to exist independently is only a reflection of your inner states. If someone appears distant, it is not because they are separate from you in truth, but because you have entertained an inner state of being undesired. Change that inner state, and the outer form must comply. So how do you stop affirming absence without speaking a word? You assume their presence. You feel what you would feel if they were already obsessed with you, not just casually thinking of you, but magnetically drawn, unable to resist checking their phone, compelled by a desire they cannot explain. And then you rest in that assumption not just during meditation, but throughout the day. It becomes your inner residence. This is the power of controlled imagination. When you stop chasing, you are not surrendering your desire, you are claiming it in its most potent form. Chasing implies it is still out of reach. Silence implies it is already yours. This silence is not passive. It is not numb indifference. It is vibrant with inner speech, rich with unseen activity. You feel their love, their attention, their obsession as if it were undeniable. And from this position of assumed truth, you do nothing outwardly, because you have done everything inwardly. Now ask yourself, when you imagine your desire fulfilled, are you merely hoping for it, or are you living from it? Are you imagining as a spectator or as the one who already possesses? The difference between the two is the difference between delay and manifestation. The one who imagines from fulfillment walks differently, talks differently, thinks differently. Their silence is not emptiness, it is authority. You must understand that all things respond to your inner state, not your outer effort. You can text someone 1,000 times and remain invisible to their heart. But assume once and truly feel it real, and you become unforgettable, because you have impressed that truth upon the only medium that matters, the subconscious. That person you seek is not separate from you. They exist within you as a concept, an idea, a picture. And the state you occupy determines the picture you see. If you live in the state of I am not chosen, then the person reflects that role. If you rise into the state of I am desired beyond words, then they must conform not by force, but by the law of reflection. You cannot manipulate the mirror by scratching its surface. You must change or face the inner man. When you stop texting, you are no longer playing in the illusion of separation. You are returning to the source of causation, which is always internal. And in this stillness, in this silence, you become magnetic. When you know they are already yours, you do not ask, you do not plead, you do not pursue. You live from the end. And to live from the end is to live in truth. All else is illusion. So if you desire their obsession, let it be birthed in silence. Let it be formed in the sacred place of your imagination. Withdraw your senses from the outer world and feast on the feeling of being adored. Let them chase you in thought, dream of you in sleep, reach out in wonder. Why can't I forget them? It is because you dared to stop affirming absence. You dared to be still. And in that stillness you became irresistible. To manifest a specific person, you must not look at what is, but live in what is imagined. This is not a poetic suggestion. It is a precise instruction. The outer world, the text that hasn't arrived, the silence from their side, the coldness of current circumstances, these are not fact. They are reflections. And a reflection holds no power except that which you give it. When the eye sees no change, the heart often yields to doubt. But that is the very moment you are being tested in your understanding of reality. You are not here to react. You are here to create. And creation begins not with action, but with assumption. The moment you look at the lack of communication and say, this means they don't care, you have planted the seed of separation. That seed will grow not because they don't care, but because you accepted the image as final truth. Yet there is a higher vision, an unseen law, that says the world must mirror your internal atmosphere. So change the atmosphere. This means that when the outer facts are silent, you do not join them. You contradict them from within. You stand boldly in imagination and say, they love me madly, even when their last message was months ago. You say they cannot stay away from me, even when your phone is quiet. This contradiction is not delusion, it is creation. All manifestation hinges on one central idea, feel it real. Not wish it, not want it, not hope, but feel it as real now. If you imagine the dinner, but still feel lonely, you have not created. But if you imagine walking beside them, hearing their voice, seeing their eyes light up in devotion, and you feel that it is real, then you are no longer imagining, you are living. The imagination must be your dwelling place, not your vacation spot. You don't visit the state of being loved once a day during meditation and then live in fear for the other 23 hours. You must move into the state and refuse to leave. You must see yourself as already together, already adored, already claimed. And from that state you live. Let me be clear. What you accept inwardly becomes your experience outwardly. You cannot long for what you think you lack and call it faith. Longing is proof that you believe it is not yet yours. True assumption sees the unseen as present and lives accordingly. If you knew they were thinking of you now, desiring you with every breath, how would you carry yourself? Would you worry, or would you rest in certainty? That rest is power. That rest is faith in action. There is a subtle lie that many fall into, the belief that what they see is more real than what they feel. But feeling is the substance of reality. The senses are slow. They lag behind. What you feel now determines what the senses will show later. So if you wish to see them come to you, do not chase the picture. Create it. Build it in your mind. Walk in it. Speak from it. Think from it. And it will harden into fact. Your imagination is not a stage where fantasies play, it is the workshop of God. Every scene you rehearse inwardly is constructing the path ahead. You don't need their permission, their awareness, or even their cooperation. What you need is discipline. Discipline to turn away from appearances and choose the inner vision again and again until it becomes natural. When the world says they're gone, you say they are mine. When it says they've moved on, you say they can't forget me. Not to deceive yourself, but to awaken the truth that the world outside is but a canvas painted by your persistent inner state. If you make a habit of living in what is imagined, you will find that the imagined becomes real. You will notice their energy shift, their language change, their presence return, and you will not be surprised because you have already lived it in the invisible. There is a principle that governs all creation. It is the law of assumption. And that law says what you assume to be true, though unseen, must become seen. Therefore, to manifest a specific person, you do not wait for the evidence. You create it, not by manipulating them, but by mastering your own inner world. You are not at the mercy of delay. You are not subject to their moods. You are the cause, and your assumption is the seed. Plant only what you wish to harvest. Live only in the house you desire to build. Speak only from the love you know is yours. For if you will dare to persist in imagining and refuse to return to the old state, the person you love will reappear not as a stranger, but as one drawn irresistibly to the vibration you have maintained. And then you will know it was not the words, not the waiting, not the effort, but the inner acceptance that shaped the outcome. The law of assumption in love does not work through force, it works through faith. You do not bring someone closer by pleading, by constantly watching the phone, or by refreshing your messages in despair. That path is not the path of power, it is the path of powerlessness. When you try to make someone obsessed with you through outer action, you are revealing to your own consciousness that you do not believe they already are. This disbelief is the only barrier that separates you from the manifestation you desire. The law works not by what you do, but by what you believe to be true. So if you imagine them not responding, and then go and try to force an outcome, you are confirming your doubt. You are acting from fear, and fear is a creator in its own right. Everything begins with the inner world. The one who lives in faith does not need proof. The proof is the feeling. The proof is in the assumption that love is already present, even before it is seen. Faith, when properly understood, is not hope, it is inner certainty. It is the absolute acceptance of a condition before any sign of it appears. This is how obsession is manifested, not by convincing another person to care about you, but by assuming they already do, and holding to that assumption so consistently, so faithfully, that the world has no choice but to bend around your belief. People often ask how to make someone obsessed. The answer lies not in the other, but in yourself. Do you truly believe you are someone worth obsessing over? Do you feel chosen, special, irresistible? Or do you secretly carry a belief that others leave, that love fades, that attention is always temporary? For whatever belief you carry is the belief that will shape your world. To transform someone's feelings, you must first transform your own. And that begins by redefining yourself not according to past events, but according to your desire. If you want them obsessed, you must first feel like the kind of person who evokes that obsession. You must feel magnetic, irreplaceable, divine. That feeling is the signal you send, and that signal cannot go unanswered. But this faith must be silent. It must be unwavering. It does not shout. It does not argue. It does not check the clock. It rests. It walks forward, even when the outer world remains unchanged, for it knows with quiet assurance that what is felt within must express without. One may say, but I don't see any evidence yet. And I say, then do not look outside for it. The evidence begins in imagination. The outer world is always a delayed echo of what has been assumed. If you persist in the feeling of being adored, of being missed, of being craved with intensity, that feeling will take shape. The person may not understand what is drawing them, but they will feel the pull. And that pull is nothing but your assumption clothed in their form. You must not use the law mechanically. You must not repeat affirmations as if they were magical spells. They are only powerful when they awaken the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel that they are calling, texting, thinking, longing, not just as a picture in your mind, but as a knowing in your being. That knowing is the seed. And seeds do not scream to grow, they unfold in silence. Faith is your union with the invisible. It is the marriage between your desire and your belief. If you say they are obsessed, but doubt it in your heart, the words are empty. But if you say it once and believe it completely, that single assumption will do more than 1,000 desperate actions. The Lord does not care how long they've been gone, how resistant they seem, or what they say with their lips. The law only responds to your inner conviction. Change your conviction, and you change their behavior not because you're forcing them, but because you are now occupying the only reality where they feel drawn to you beyond reason. Imagine what it would feel like to be desired so strongly that they cannot focus on anything else. Imagine the text arriving, the message pouring with emotion, the eyes that light up when they see you. Now stay in that scene. Let it be your truth. Let it be more real than what your senses say. For that scene, when impressed upon the subconscious through faith, becomes the foundation of your future. And so you live, not waiting, not doubting, but knowing. Knowing that you are no longer the version of yourself who hopes for love, you are the one who is loved. You do not seek obsession, you evoke it. Because you have assumed your place as the only one they think about, dream of, and need. This is not force, it is divine confidence. The quiet authority that comes when you no longer beg reality to change, but command it through the invisible law of belief. To manifest love, to manifest obsession, one must understand the fundamental difference between chasing and allowing. Chasing is the outward expression of lack. It is the body reacting to a mind consumed with absence. It says, I do not have, therefore I must pursue. This energy is loud, desperate, and palpable. It pushes the desired person away, because it broadcasts a vibration of neediness, which repels rather than attracts. On the other hand, allowing is the quiet power of knowing that what you desire is already yours. Allowing is the internal state of having, not the external act of hunting. When you cease chasing, you cease the vibration of lack. You shift your energy from wanting to receiving. This shift is subtle, yet profound. It is the difference between a flame that flickers anxiously and a steady light that draws moths from miles away. In this state of allowing, you embody the essence of your desire. You do not force events or bend wills. You simply exist as the magnetic center of your imagined reality. This existence commands attention without effort. People are drawn to it naturally because it resonates with the law that like attracts like. The idea of chasing implies movement towards something outside oneself, as if the desired person is a prize to be won. But manifestation works from the inside out. The desire must first be fulfilled inwardly before the outward world can respond. The moment you stop chasing, you reclaim your power. You stop giving your energy away to fear and uncertainty and begin investing it in faith and certainty. Consider the nature of waves in water. When you reach out to grab the wave, it slips through your fingers. But when you become still, the water rises to meet you. This metaphor applies perfectly to manifestation in love. The act of chasing disperses your energy. The act of allowing concentrates it. In practice, allowing means feeling the reality of your desire as if it is already fulfilled. It means living in the mental and emotional state of being adored without needing external confirmation. This state is not a temporary meditation or a momentary daydream. It is a sustained identity. You carry it with you in every thought, in every breath. The person you desire will pick up on this vibration, even if unconsciously. Your silence, your confidence, your refusal to chase sends a powerful message. I am not needy, I am desirable. This message awakens a magnetic force within them, compelling them to seek you out, to become obsessed with your presence. Allowing is also an act of trust. It is trust in the unseen law that governs manifestation. It is trust that the universe, or your inner consciousness, will arrange the circumstances to bring your desire into physical form. This trust quiets the mind and soothes the heart, replacing anxiety with peace. When you chase, you enter a cycle of anxiety and disappointment, because your fulfillment depends on external validation. But when you allow, your fulfillment is independent of the outer world. It comes from within. This independence makes you invincible in the realm of manifestation. There is also a transformation in your self-concept. When you stop chasing and start allowing, you move from the identity of the pursuer to the identity of the prize. This shift changes how you carry yourself, how you interact with others, and ultimately, how the world responds to you. You begin to notice changes in the behavior of the person you desire. They may start reaching out more, showing signs of interest, or simply thinking about you more often. These are not coincidences, they are the natural consequences of your inner transformation. Manifestation is not about manipulating others, it is about mastering yourself. By stopping the chase, you master your emotions, your thoughts, and your beliefs. You become the creator of your experience rather than a victim of circumstances. In this space of allowing, you cultivate patience, not the impatience of waiting, but the calm confidence that what you want is already on its way. This patience is a powerful attractor because it shows that you believe fully in the outcome. Finally, allowing is the ultimate expression of love, not just for another person, but for yourself. It honors your worth and your power. It recognizes that you deserve to be loved, to be obsessed over, without having to prove it or chase it down. When you embody allowing, you radiate a light that is impossible to ignore. That light draws others to you irresistibly. And that is how obsession is truly manifested, not through force or chase, but through the quiet, unshakable presence of knowing you are already loved. To manifest someone to miss you, you must first understand that true manifestation arises not from external circumstances, but from the inner state you choose to occupy. The absence you perceive is but a reflection of the thoughts and feelings you harbor within. If you focus on their silence, their distance, and the lack of communication, you reinforce a state of separation. This reinforcement solidifies the belief that you are forgotten, unwanted, or unimportant. Yet, the law of consciousness offers you a profound alternative: to claim the feeling of being missed as your present reality. When you imagine the person pacing, wondering, and obsessing over your absence, you are not simply creating a fantasy. You are planting a seed in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. This seed, nurtured by feeling and assumption, will grow and bring forth corresponding experiences. The key lies in the feeling. You must feel the truth of their longing as vividly and deeply as you would feel your own presence beside them. It is the feeling that animates the imagined scene and imparts it with creative power. To cultivate this feeling, you do not need to engage in any outward action. Manifestation requires no text, no calls, no chasing. Instead, it demands a deep inward commitment to the reality of your desire fulfilled. You must inhabit that reality fully, allowing the sensations of being remembered, missed, and longed for to permeate every cell of your being. This inner state becomes your new identity, one that exists independently of external validation. Many falter here because they mistake wishing or hoping for feeling. Wishing is passive and uncertain, a wish being a desire without full belief. Feeling is active and certain. It is the emotional conviction that your desire is already a fact. When you feel that someone misses you, you communicate directly with the subconscious, the creative force within you that shapes your experience. This process requires imagination that is vivid, detailed, and emotionally charged. Picture the person caught in a moment of quiet reflection, their thoughts drifting irresistibly to you. See the subtle signs, the furrowed brow, the distracted glance at their phone, the sigh of longing. Imagine their heart beating faster at the mere thought of your name. These details are not trivial. They are the language of the subconscious and the building blocks of your manifestation. It is important to understand that your imagination must not be fleeting or casual. It must be the dominant theme of your inner conversation. If the narrative in your mind constantly shifts between doubt and desire, you weaken the power of your assumption. To manifest effectively, you must hold the scene steady, refusing to acknowledge the seeming contradictions of your outer world. This steady imagining becomes a form of mental discipline. It is the practice of returning, again and again, to the feeling of being missed. Like a gardener tending to a plant, you nurture the imagined reality until it becomes your natural state. In time, this inner reality overflows into the outer world, altering circumstances and behavior. You may wonder how such an unseen process influences another person. The answer lies in the interconnectedness of consciousness. Your state emits a vibrational frequency that resonates with the person you desire. It stirs their subconscious mind, awakening feelings they may not consciously understand. This vibration acts as an invisible thread, drawing them toward you. This is not manipulation, it is alignment. When your inner state aligns perfectly with the experience of being missed, you create a magnetic field that pulls your specific person closer. Their actions become a natural consequence of this alignment. They may reach out, think of you more frequently, or feel a deep emotional yearning that compels them to seek connection. The key to sustaining this manifestation is to remain detached from the outcome. Detachment does not mean indifference, it means trusting the process and not succumbing to anxiety or impatience. Anxiety and impatience are vibrations of resistance that push your desire away. Trust, on the other hand, is a vibration of allowance that lets your desire flow toward you effortlessly. As you embody this state, you begin to notice subtle shifts, not just in the person you wish to manifest, but within yourself. You feel more confident, peaceful, and empowered. Your self-worth becomes independent of external validation, anchored instead in the certainty of your creative power. This inner transformation is the true foundation of manifestation. In essence, to manifest someone to miss you is to become the living embodiment of being missed. You reflect the love, attention, and longing you wish to receive. This reflection acts like a mirror, inviting the other to respond in kind. The outer world can only match the inner reality you persist in. Remember, manifestation is not a magic trick, but a natural law. Like the seed that grows into a mighty tree, your imagined feelings take root and flourish over time. Patience and persistence in your inner state are crucial. The more consistently you feel the truth of being missed, the more inevitable its manifestation becomes. By mastering this inner discipline, you release the need to chase or plead. You step into the power of silent knowing, where your desire is fulfilled by the unseen forces at work within and around you. This power transcends all external circumstances and transforms your reality from the inside out. To understand the true technique behind manifesting a specific person's obsession, one must grasp the profound power of inner knowing. This power does not come from outward attempts, such as sending messages or making calls, but from the certainty you cultivate within. Your conscious mind often seeks validation from the external world, but manifestation flows from the depths of your subconscious, the realm where true belief resides and shapes reality. The technique is not a series of external actions, it is an internal state. When you live in the state of knowing that the person you desire is already obsessed with you, you cease the exhausting cycle of chasing and doubting. This knowing acts like a magnet, drawing them in effortlessly. The paradox is simple. By surrendering the need to control the outer, you gain full control over your inner world, and from there the outer world aligns. To embody this state of knowing, you must first quiet the restless mind. The mind that asks, have they texted? Do they think of me? Is stuck in a loop of uncertainty and desire, which weakens your creative power. Instead, turn your focus inward and feel the reality of their obsession as if it were undeniable. Feel their longing, their thoughts of you, their inability to resist your presence. This is not an act of wishful thinking, but a deliberate choice to occupy the emotional and mental space of the fulfilled desire. This deliberate choice is the essence of mental diet, the practice of monitoring and controlling your thoughts and feelings to maintain alignment with your desired reality. Your subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is imagined vividly and what is physically experienced. It accepts as truth whatever you impress upon it repeatedly with feeling. Therefore, the quality of your imagination is paramount. When you repeatedly envision your specific person as obsessed with you, not only do you reinforce your inner belief, but you also reprogram your subconscious to accept this reality. Your behavior, demeanor, and energy shift accordingly, even if you are not consciously aware of it. This subtle transformation is what others perceive and respond to. It is the invisible influence of your inner knowing made visible. You do not need their permission or conscious awareness for this manifestation to take place. Your inner world is the true causative agent. The person's thoughts, feelings, and actions begin to align with the frequency you emit. This is the foundation of what is often called telepathic manifestation, the idea that your emotions and assumptions transmit signals beyond the physical, influencing the thoughts and feelings of others. This phenomenon is not mysterious or supernatural. It is a natural consequence of consciousness interacting with consciousness. When you live fully in the assumption of their obsession, your frequency resonates with theirs, creating a magnetic pull. It is like two tuning forks vibrating in harmony. One vibrates and the other responds. The power of this technique lies in its simplicity and its depth. It requires no manipulation, no effortful persuasion, only the steadfast maintenance of an inner reality. This maintenance demands discipline, because the external world may often contradict your assumptions. You may see silence, distance, or indifference, but you must refuse to let these appearances dictate your inner state. Your reality is created from the inside out, not the outside in. In practice, this means cultivating a daily habit of imagining your specific person as obsessed with you. Picture moments where their attention is wholly fixed on you, where their thoughts circle around your presence, and where their desire is evident, even in their silence. Engage your senses in this mental scene, hear the tone of their voice, see the expression on their face, feel the warmth of their gaze. The more sensory details you include, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. Alongside vivid imagination, cultivate the feeling of certainty that this is already your present reality. Do not imagine as if it might happen, but as if it is happening now. Feel the joy, the excitement, and the peace that come with fulfilled desire. This feeling is the emotional signature of your manifestation. As you persist in this state of knowing, your outer world must conform. The law of consciousness responds to your dominant state, not to fleeting thoughts or occasional doubts. Your consistency impresses your subconscious mind and aligns your vibrational frequency with the desired outcome. The person you manifest begins to mirror your inner reality, showing signs of obsession in words, actions, or even subtle gestures. You may find their attention increasing gradually, more messages, calls, or expressions of interest. Sometimes the change manifests as an inexplicable pull, a sudden recollection of you, or a change in their energy toward you. These are confirmations of your inner work coming to fruition. It is important to recognize that this technique transcends time and distance. Whether you are physically apart or together, your assumption shapes their consciousness and draws them toward you emotionally and mentally. The physical world will eventually catch up to the state you have maintained internally. To embody this knowing fully is to embrace your role as the creator of your experience. You no longer depend on circumstances, other people's decisions, or external events. You are empowered by your ability to direct your own consciousness and thereby influence the world around you. This practice is the ultimate form of self-mastery. It teaches patience, faith, and the power of imagination. It moves you away from desperation and into divine confidence. It allows you to manifest not through force or struggle, but through quiet certainty and inner alignment. Your self-concept is the foundation upon which all manifestation is built. It is the silent blueprint that guides every thought, feeling, and action you take. When it comes to love and obsession, your inner belief about yourself determines whether you are remembered and desired or forgotten and overlooked. This concept is so crucial that it often escapes conscious awareness, yet it quietly governs the reality you experience. To manifest obsession, You must first embody the identity of someone who is irresistible and unforgettable. If deep within you lies a belief of being ordinary, unworthy, or easily forgotten, the world will reflect that belief back to you. It is not the outer circumstances that shape your experience, but the self-image you carry. This self-image is the lens through which reality is perceived and constructed. Changing your self-concept requires deliberate effort and sustained attention. It is not enough to wish for love or to hope someone will notice you. You must rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are in relation to love. You must see yourself as magnetic, desirable, and unique, not because of external validation, but because you have claimed these qualities as your own. This shift is not merely intellectual, it must be felt deeply and embodied fully. When you feel yourself as unforgettable, your body language, your energy, and your presence begin to change. You carry yourself differently. This transformation is sensed by others at a level beyond words. They are drawn not just to your appearance, but to the essence of your being. The subconscious mind does not respond to surface appearances or fleeting thoughts. It responds to the dominant beliefs you hold about yourself. If you have cultivated a self-concept of being the object of obsession, your subconscious mind will attract experiences and people that confirm this belief. This is the principle of correspondence at work. Manifestation is the process of making this inner belief visible in the outer world. You do this not by trying harder or changing others, but by transforming yourself. When your self-concept is aligned with your desire, you no longer chase or plead. Instead, you radiate a confidence and certainty that naturally magnetize others to you. Many people misunderstand this process and focus solely on external actions, sending messages, planning encounters, or changing their appearance. While these may have some effect, they are superficial compared to the profound change that occurs when your self-concept shifts. The internal work precedes and determines the external results. To cultivate an unforgettable self-concept, begin by observing the narratives you tell yourself. Notice any thoughts of unworthiness, invisibility, or rejection. Gently challenge these thoughts and replace them with affirmations of your unique value and desirability. This mental diet must be consistent and compassionate. Visualize yourself as the person others cannot forget. Imagine their fascination, their longing, their admiration. Feel the emotions associated with being deeply desired. Let this visualization permeate your consciousness until it becomes your new normal. This practice is not about arrogance or false pride. It is about reclaiming your true essence. Every person has a unique light that deserves to be seen and celebrated. By aligning with this truth, you awaken the power to manifest obsession effortlessly. As your self-concept evolves, you will notice subtle shifts in your interactions. People will respond to you with greater interest, warmth, and attention. These are signs that your inner transformation is reflecting outwardly. Remember, the self-concept is not fixed. It is malleable and responsive to your conscious effort. You have the ability to reshape it at any moment by changing your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions about yourself. This ongoing process of self-transformation is the cornerstone of all successful manifestation. It is the invisible thread that connects your inner world with your outer experiences. The power of telepathic manifestation is a subtle yet profound truth that governs the unseen world of human connection. It is the understanding that your inner feelings and assumptions do not merely affect your own reality, but extend outward, influencing the consciousness of others. When you imagine with feeling, you send invisible signals, vibrations that resonate beyond your physical presence. These signals touch the subconscious mind of the person you desire, stirring emotions, thoughts, and desires within them that align with your own. This process is not magic, but a natural law of consciousness. Every thought and feeling carries energy, a frequency that interacts with the energy of others. When you consistently hold the feeling of obsession within yourself, you broadcast a persistent signal that cannot be ignored. It penetrates the veil of separation, connecting minds and hearts in a dance of unseen forces. To harness this power, you must cultivate clarity and intensity in your imagination. Vague wishes and fleeting thoughts have little effect. Instead, you must immerse yourself fully in the mental scene, engaging all your senses. Picture the person thinking of you incessantly, feeling restless and drawn toward you. Hear the unspoken words, see the longing in their eyes, feel the magnetic pull between you. The more vivid and detailed your imagination, the stronger the telepathic signal you emit. This telepathic communication transcends physical distance and time. Even if you are apart, your inner state creates a bridge between your consciousness and theirs. This bridge is built not on words or actions, but on feeling and assumption. The more you maintain this bridge, the more real it becomes to both of you. It is important to understand that this influence works through resonance. You do not force the other person's will. You align your frequency with theirs. When your internal vibration matches the emotional state of obsession, the other person unconsciously responds, reflecting back the feelings you have impressed upon them. This mutual resonance creates a powerful energetic bond that manifests in their thoughts, emotions, and eventually their actions. Many underestimate the significance of their inner world in shaping relationships. They focus on external behaviors and try to control outcomes through manipulation or persuasion. Yet true manifestation comes from mastery of the inner self. By controlling your feelings and assumptions, you become the source of attraction. Your telepathic signals call forth the reality you desire, without need for direct interaction. This requires discipline and faith. The mind may waver and doubt may creep in, especially when external evidence seems lacking, but persistence in your inner reality is key. The subconscious mind and the universal laws respond not to the fleeting doubts, but to the dominant feelings you nurture. Maintain your telepathic focus, and over time it will manifest externally. Telepathic manifestation also explains the profound experiences of connection that defy logic and distance. People have reported feeling the presence of loved ones miles away, knowing what they are thinking or feeling without communication. These experiences are manifestations of the energetic interplay that your focused imagination can create. To practice this effectively, set aside moments each day to deeply engage your senses in the mental scene of obsession. Feel the tension, the longing, the magnetic attraction as if it is happening now. Repeat this with conviction and patience. Let it become your emotional reality. Remember that this is not about controlling another person's free will, about aligning your own energy to attract the desired outcome naturally. The law works through attraction, not coercion. When your telepathic manifestation is sincere and consistent, it invites a response from the universe and from the person you desire. In mastering telepathic manifestation, you step into the role of a conscious creator. You learn to wield the power of your imagination and feelings to shape reality, not only for yourself, but in subtle ways for those around you. This power is the essence of true manifestation, transcending time, space, and the limitations of the physical world. Having journeyed through the depths of manifestation, it becomes clear that true power lies not in outward pursuit, but in inner mastery. To manifest someone's obsession without text or chase is to embrace the silent certainty that what you desire is already yours. It requires shifting from lack to abundance, from doubt to unwavering faith, and from external effort to profound internal knowing. You are the creator of reality through the assumptions you hold, the feelings you nurture, and the self-concept you embody. When you stop affirming absence and begin to live in the reality of their obsession, you realign your entire being with the magnetic force of love. This transformation radiates outward, influencing minds and hearts beyond the physical reach. Manifestation is an art of discipline, patience, and faith. It is the quiet cultivation of scenes rich with feeling, the steadfast refusal to surrender to appearances, and the deep trust that the unseen law of consciousness will bring your desire into manifestation. As you embrace these truths, you transcend the need to chase, to text, or to plead, stepping instead into the realm of effortless attraction. Remember, the mind you occupy shapes the world you experience. Choose to dwell in the feeling of being desired, missed, and obsessed over. Become the embodiment of that truth, and watch as the outer world bends gracefully to reflect your inner certainty. In this space, love flows naturally, freely, and powerfully. Your journey to manifest obsession is not one of struggle, but of surrender, a surrender to the creative power within you that knows no limits. Trust this power, live from it, and manifest with confidence that what you have imagined and felt as real will, without fail, become your undeniable reality.